This is a recount of the evolution of the District of Columbia's public school system and what legislators feel is the solution to the problem. Congress created the school system in 1804. 6 decades later, African American children were allowed, but they were separate in the system from whites. Congressional oversight always occurred without an independent state education agency. It wasn't until 1954 that the District of Columbia Public Schools integrated. Very quickly, the population demographic increasingly became African American. They called it Black Monday, the day the students of color were allowed into the white institutions. Newspaper articles all around read the headlines, and people picketed. Around the same time, during the 50s and 60s, the nation was experiencing a lot of blacks moving into white neighborhoods. White flight is what they call it. They responded to these societal pressures by packing up and leaving. The suburbs became very popular during this time. When the whites moved out of the city, they also took their property taxes that funded the school system. Because the whites left and the black population was increasing, became 91% black and 9% white in the public school systems. The Negro buildings were described as slums by some. Parents called for reform all throughout the late 1990s. Nothing seemed to work. Today's public school demographic in the area is still very much black. Public school education began to decline. Parents called for better, free options for their students. Congress passed legislation to make this possible. In 1995, the D.C. School Reform Act was passed by Congress, and it allowed for the creation of public charter schools in the district. In 1996, an amendment was made to the D.C. School Reform Act of 1995 that allowed for a separate school board for the public charter schools. DCPS joined with DCPCS, but they were still 2 different boards under one education system. Proponents of charters like them because they're free, unlike private schools. They also like them because there's increased accountability with the freedom to innovate. Teachers don't have to follow a specific curriculum. Some parents simply cannot afford private school, but the public schools that they're zoned for are not conducive to learning. Public charter schools give these parents another option. DC public charters are almost as popular now as the public schools in the system. Parents love DCPCS. They feel like it's doing wonders for their kids. The schools have different learning styles, increased learning pace, and teachers who really have a heart for the kids. Today, there are 60 charter schools on over 100 campuses, enrolling almost 38,000 district students, which is 44% of the DC public school students. They're publicly funded just like DCPS and are currently underfunded compared to their counterparts. On this map, the small little red caps indicate the charter schools and the red dots indicate public schools. Right now, there's a big issue going on with the disparity and unfairness of the funding. It takes around $9,000 for each student to go to a public school in general, and DCPCS, as stated earlier, is underfunded.